First of all, that Ladino music, it's a culture. It's part of a culture. It's part of a heritage. And in this case, Ladino in itself, the word Ladino refers to a language that is comprised of Spanish, Hebrew, in certain cases Portuguese, in certain cases Greek, French, Italian. And the reason why is because this is the language that was developed out of that diaspora that moved out of Spain, that Jewish Spanish diaspora that moved out of Spain and went across all of those countries, the Balkans, Greek, Italy. And as they settled down in every part of Europe, they incorporated part of the language of the place that they were settling in with Hebrew and Old Spanish, Old Castilian. And so it is very distinctive because only Jewish people from the Iberian Peninsula, they would use certain words. The BorikenSpharad Ladino Music Project is a research project. That's really what it is, a research project that it's devoted to the research in itself, restoration and preservation of the Sephardic culture in the Caribbean, focused mainly in Puerto Rico, but also extended to the Hispanic American community. That's what the Ladino Music Project is. And BorikenSpharad, many people ask me about that. BorikenSpharad, really, it's a mix between those cultural heritages. So Boriken, because that's the original Taino name for our island of Puerto Rico, and then Sfarad is the Hebrew name for Spain. So the Sfaradi, or Sfarad, or Sephardic, as many people know it, is all of those Judeo-Spanish people who came to the Caribbean and the islands, and now they are called Sephardic or Sephardim in many instances. And so that's what the project, the name of the project, that's why I came with that name. Now, to me, what's even more, what really attracted me to this, to develop this project and to embrace this music as part of my cultural heritage is that I discovered that there are many words, Ladino words, that we still use today and that I was using even in my own family in Puerto Rico. And that was really a shocking finding for me because, like I said before, Ladino is so much more than a language. It is a culture. Because with words, you carry the story and you carry history. So to have found that after all these years, after hundreds and hundreds of years, and so many migration patterns from our ancestors, we still keep some of those words alive in Puerto Rico. To me, that was amazing. So the Ladino music, it carries in itself history because many times the Jewish people, the Jewish Spanish people, they would carry the story by singing and making up many of their stories, disguising them with music that, for instance, some of the Spanish classical music or folk music, they would adopt it and make it their own and incorporate new languages, or in certain instances, use the melody of one of the Spanish folk songs and change into a lyric that would pertain to the romances, the Sephardic romances, or the Jewish Spanish romances. And so as they went from one place to the other, we can find that many of those lyrics can vary from place to place, but also that many of those lyrics were adapted to its own country or culture. Such is the case as one of the most well-known songs that we have in Puerto Rico, Dame la mano paloma, which is a Sephardic song. And in itself, it's a Spanish folk song. But the way that we got that song is because the diaspora, the crypto-Jews, the Sephardic, they brought it to the Caribbean, and in Puerto Rico, we made it our own. The original one in Ladino is Dame la mano palomba. Palomba instead of paloma.